Zimbabwe's independence started well. Mugabe's and Nkomo's fighters were merged with the Rhodesian forces into a new national army, and Nkomo joined a coalition government. But some of his men went back into the bush to fight on. Secret arms dumps were discovered in the Zapu stronghold of Matabeleland. Nkomo denied any knowledge of them.
The fact that we have not arrested him is purely out of deference to him, that he's old, he has played that part in the past in the revolution. We would have picked him a long time ago without any qualms.
But Mugabe sent his crack new force into Matabeleland, the 5th Brigade, trained by the North. It's only recently that people have begun to speak openly about what happened over 15 years ago.
Wakhupha isithupha, wakhupha iwatshi, wangiqhubela, wangena egodini.
Phongo ukubulawa kodwa singakwazi ukuthi kwenzelwane.
Lapha kwagcwala igodi ngabe lathi sangena phakathi egodini. Kwasuka kwagcwala igodi.
Kodwa sithi phambili ngo-RG Robert Mugabe. Phansi ngama-distance.
Bathe bekwanile kwase sisukunyiswa laphana kwathiwa sizegqibela. Sabuya sazagqibela sagada phezulu sihlatsheliswa.
Siyazazi ingoma zawo. Uthi hayi wathi konde di. Sizazi. Uthi konde di. Qakeza. Hayi wathi konde di. Hayi wa hlabelani kakhulu. Hayi wathi konde di. Hayi wathi konde di. Shaye khona phambi kwakho.
The beatings, the killing, the torture is unbelievable, unbelievable. And these people will play it off. People are being taken daily at night and they disappear forever. And those who are taken to police camp, in the stops camp in Bulawayo, the torture that goes in there is to be seen to be believed, and by the black people to another black man.
We were bitter. We didn't mince words. We told Mugabe straight. And we expelled from government because we told him point blank that this was a betrayal and a very serious one, and we're not going to take it lying low.
Wherever you have operations, you're bound to have one or two untoward incidents, but not the mass graves which they talked about. Where are they? You travel the whole length and breadth of Matabeleland and you won't find a single mass grave.
A BBC team filmed as the evidence of one of many mass graves was discovered. A Catholic Church inquiry has put the number of those who died at nearly 4,000 on a conservative estimate, and perhaps double that.
The man's hands are tied behind his back?
Yes.
Tied with wire?
I have never witnessed that. I've never heard about it, except to read it from the press. I've never, that time I have had any complaint of that nature reaching headquarters.
Even to this day, I don't believe that it was just the 5th Brigade which operated and is now being accused of the atrocities. I don't think they're the only ones who stand accused if accusations are sustainable.
I wish we'd also ask the other question: how many people died at the hands of the dissidents?
Are you saying Mugabe had no hand in the attacks that were made on Matabeleland?
I wouldn't like to state that myself, but this is what he says. This was just something that was done by junior officers. He had no hand in it, and we took it for his word. But I wouldn't say myself that he had no hand in it, because I don't know.
Mugabe's troops led an attack on Nkomo's house in Bulawayo. They shot his driver and 2 others. Nkomo narrowly escaped. In fear of his life, the father figure of the liberation struggle fled the independent Zimbabwe he had helped create. Government ministers and Mugabe supporters now spoke of a final solution to the Nkomo problem: the liquidation of ZAPU.
Nkomo must be out. He must die in exile.
Die in exile?
In exile. We don't see him in Zimbabwe anymore. Nkomo is an enemy to all the people.
He must be hanged. Hanged? Yeah. Why do you say that? He's disturbing the country.
We will order Mugabe. We are going to order Mugabe to declare one-party state.
Mugabe needed no encouragement. A one-party state had always been his ambition.
One-party state. The dissident party and its dissident father are both destined not only for rejection, but for utter destruction as well.
Despite the reign of terror in Matabeleland, Mugabe's party made no headway. As his opponents hope to demonstrate this weekend, intimidation can be counterproductive. The liberation battle was fought for the vote and to win back land. But 20 years on, blacks still haven't got their hands on the best farms. For the first 10 years, whites weren't forced to sell, and few did. Some abandoned farms were parcelled out to blacks, but the results were disappointing.
The government was in a great hurry to just put people on the land. We have now settled 150,000 here and 25,000 there. It was a head-counting exercise. And it worked for a few years because they were placed. But they became disillusioned. So they started drifting back. The farms were abandoned, they were left.
The big commercial farmers like Jim Sinclair felt they'd won a reprieve.
It was certainly a very good time for us. We prospered, and we were expanding as we did it.
Did you feel secure?
Absolutely.
We realized that although the European farmers were greedy, arrogant, and stubborn, they had something that we didn't want to lose as a country for our economy to move forward.
But the land issue festered in the minds of blacks. If the best land remained in white hands, what had the war been for? In the early 90s, the government began talking of compulsory purchase. But it was all rhetoric. Nothing happened.
That's what the war was all about. It was about land. Once there's been a delay, then obviously you expect the people to lose patience and think it's best to take things into their own hands.
It's a failure of the government, really.
In a way, yes, one should admit it's a failure of the government to have got it sorted out. We did not plan in time for it.
The war veterans who'd fought in the liberation struggle were growing disillusioned. They could see no sign of the fruits of victory being shared with them. What rankled most was that under the Constitution, the pensions of their old enemies in the Rhodesian army were protected, while they got nothing. Three years ago, they summoned the courage to confront Mugabe in person. It was an uncomfortable meeting for the president.
It was very, very tough talking because we could then say, right, look here is pension.